Hello, and welcome to Claire and Bloom, where I share my love of fragrance, body care, and beauty. In this video, I'll be reviewing the new Zara Cherry Perfume collection. Thank you so much for stopping by, and let's get started. Zara continues to do too much with their constant stream of perfume releases, but they recently launched some new scents in their colored leather line that caught my attention. They're all cherry-themed scents, and I absolutely love cherry perfumes. I also recently reviewed the Zara x Jerome Epinette collection, which contains a nice pistachio fragrance, and I'll link that video in the description box if you want to check it out. And if you want to see mini reviews or what's coming up on my channel, you can join me over on Instagram at Claire and Bloom. There are 4 new scents in the Cherry collection, which is noted as Capsule Collection 3, and I picked up all of the perfumes. This is a standard bottle shape for Zara, and they're a nice frosted glass with a red gradient. The online photos make it look like each bottle is a different shade of red, but they all look the same to me in person. The bottles look small, and they are only $22.90 US, but they're actually 3 ounces, and I believe this is the only size offered for these scents. The collection includes Cherry Balm, described as an explosion of sensuality wherein vibrant and irresistible mandarin and cherry notes mingle with the velvety texture of roses and vanilla. Cherry Blush, described as a delicious berry smoothie enriched with radiant magnolia blossom. Lucky Cherry, described as a bold blend of cherry, berries, and seductive musk. And Cherry Temptation, described as juicy, tantalizing cherries mingle with luminous jasmine to create an unexpected and irresistible fusion. And now let's get on to the reviews. The first scent in the collection is Cherry Balm, which has notes of mandarin, cherry, roses, and vanilla. And this opens with bright citrus and syrupy cherry, and the cherry is sweet and has a slightly candied feel to it. The rose in here is pretty, it's fresh and feels a bit green, and the vanilla adds a nice sweetness that isn't overly strong. The cherry and rose are most prominent though, and there's a touch of powderiness as well. I have to say the scent does feel a bit synthetic, so it's not like a juicy, realistic sort of cherry. I love cherry and rose, so the combination here is nice and I do really like it, but this can't even come close to topping my favorite cherry and rose perfume, which is Viktor and Rolf Dancing Roses. That has other notes though, and there is a significant price difference, so I have to keep that in mind. Note that Cherry Balm doesn't feel super strong to me, so you may need to overspray or touch up throughout the day. This could be an alternative to designer perfumes with similar notes. Some scents I like with rose, cherry, and vanilla are Jimmy Choo I Want You Forever, Givenchy Live Irresistible Delicious, and Dior Addict Eau de Lis if you can find it. The next scent in the collection is Cherry Blush, which has notes of berry smoothie and magnolia blossom. And this opens with a fruity mix of what feels like raspberry and cherry. I also think there's a touch of bright citrus as well, but that could be from the magnolia blossom. The floral is sweet and powdery and a bit creamy, and it's equally, if not stronger, than the fruit. The cherry feels a bit artificial, but not in an off-putting way, and while it's discernible, the other fruit is still present as well, albeit softer. This scent leans more floral to me, and for a little while it has a sharpness to it that I don't love, but it softens as it dries. I think this one is nice, especially in the dry down, but it's not super heavy on the cherry. After the heavy opening, the scent also doesn't feel especially strong to me. An alternative scents that I have with berry and magnolia notes are Guess Seductive Red and Divine Me Barbie. Then the next scent in the collection is Lucky Cherry, which has notes of cherry, berries, and musk. And this opens very sharp and musky with the fruit in the background. I can instantly tell this one isn't going to be a favorite of mine as I don't like heavily musky scents, and this also feels sort of green. The cherry isn't very prominent, and the fruit overall doesn't have a lot of sweetness to it. The scent is more airy than sweet, and the musk has a slightly powdery, earthy quality. I thought I didn't like this one at first, but I have to say after a half hour or so, it became a bit sweeter and also powdery, and then it was much more pleasant. It dried down clean and airy with a subtle musky sweetness and a hint of fruitiness. The scent honestly doesn't feel much like cherry to me though. And other musky cherry scents I have are Prada Pink Flamingos and Dior Rouge Trafalgar. And the last scent in the collection is Cherry Temptation, which has notes of juicy cherries and luminous jasmine. And if you have Zara Red Temptation, just imagine some cherry added to that, and that's essentially what this is. If you don't have that, it's a sweet, woody, ambery scent with saffron, bitter orange, praline, jasmine, and amber, among other notes. It's often compared to Maison Francis Kurkdjian's Baccarat Rouge 540. And Cherry Temptation opens with a warm, powdery sweetness and juicy cherries that have a slightly candied feel to them. Then I get the signature woody floral of the original Red Temptation, giving the scent a warm, ambery, and sort of burnt sugary quality. It all combines to give me a sweet cherry version of Red Temptation, and the scent feels on the stronger side, similar to the original. Red Temptation has a lot of flankers such as Summer, Winter, and Elixir, and I think this may be my favorite version now. I just can't resist the cherry. Scents with similar notes of cherry and jasmine, but not necessarily the Red Temptation feel, are Dolce & Gabbana Q, Giorgio Armani In Love With You, and BCBG Max Azria. I also wanted to share a quick overview of Zara's most well-known cherry perfume called Cherry Smoothie, which is not part of this collection and that I have in both old and new packaging. The original is on the left and the new one is on the right. They've brought this back a few times now, but I don't think it's currently available, at least online. Cherry Smoothie has notes of heliotrope, cherry, hawthorn flower, almond, and plum, and the original also listed Peru blossom. And this is a syrupy cherry scent with a touch of plum, and a strong almond note that's really sweet and gourmand, like marzipan. The floral is subtle, but there's a nice powderiness from the heliotrope, as well as added sweetness from the vanilla and tonka bean. The cherry is really strong, and the scent is sweet and almondy, and it's one of my favorite Zara perfumes. It's not an exact dupe for Tom Ford's Lost Cherry, as it isn't as boozy, but there is a touch of an amaretto-like feel that makes Cherry Smoothie a nice, affordable alternative. I have a couple reviews of Cherry Smoothie on my channel, including a detailed comparison between the two versions, and we'll link those in the description box if you want more details on this scent. Overall, I do enjoy this collection because of the cherry theme, and I'm glad I gave all the scents a try. Cherry is my absolute favorite perfume note, so I buy pretty much every cherry scent I can. Each of the fragrances in this collection has a different scent profile, so you can pick and choose based on the notes you'd like paired with your cherry. As a quick reference, Cherry Balm is fruity, Cherry Blush is floral, Lucky Cherry is musky, and Cherry Temptation is witty. And Cherry Smoothie is almondy. If I had to rank these, my least favorite would be Lucky Cherry, as I don't care for the opening, although the dry down isn't bad. It's not very cherryish to me either. Next would be Cherry Blush, which I think is nice, but not anything special, and it's more floral than fruity. Then Cherry Temptation would come in second, because I really like the combination of sweet cherry and the ambery wittiness of Red Temptation. And that leaves Cherry Balm as my favorite, which is a pretty mix of cherry, rose, and vanilla. I do wish it were stronger though. If I was including Cherry Smoothie, that would still come out on top though, out of all of these. It's the most gourmand, and I love the powdery cherry almondy sweetness. So that's it for my review of the Cherry Perfume collection from Zara. Let me know what you think of these scents and if you're going to give any of them a try. Thank you for watching, I hope that you'll subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video.